Hey team, what's up? So welcome to another build. We're gonna do an email autoresponder today, which catches new email coming through. It then uses AI to draft an answer and then sends it back. All right, so let's dive in. Now this right here is sort of a simpler automation, but it gives you the fundamentals to know, like when building automations, and we learn by doing, right? So as always, before we build the automation, let's map it out. Let's have it as a plan, so that when we go out and build the automation, it's much easier for us. So in theory, when it comes to email systems, because there's a lot of stuff you can build with emails, right? We need to have a way to cache the emails. So let's do watch emails, because that is the first step. It's like, how do we get the emails? In this case, it's watch emails. And I know this exists because I built automations and there's modules on make.com that allow us to receive emails that come through. All right, so watch emails. Then what we do is use AI to draft an answer. And then send it back. And this is one of the systems where you look at it like, oh, this is too simple. But this is like the highest, one of the highest ROI systems for companies, because their inboxes are completely filled with shit. So it's like, how do you categorize which email, and how do you reply to them so they don't have to, right? Okay, cool. So watch emails. What kind of emails? So let's do new lead form submission. So new lead submission. So let's say we get an email from let's say our account manager saying, hey, new lead coming through, name, email, desire, or like what do they want, right? Say we want to do that, and then based on those three, we draft an email to that. So you'll be able to see how we extract the email from that email as well. Extract the name, extract what they want, and then make a personalized email based on what they want, and then send it back to them. I think that's pretty sweet. So let's do that. New lead submission, which will have name, email, and let's do location as well, and desire, or like wants and desires. I mean, I don't know what to call this, but I guess what are they looking for, right? Okay, new information. Okay, that's cool. All right, so now that we have this, we can move on to the next step. In this case, it's use AI to draft an answer. I believe that we're going to have to, so for the sake of simplicity, we're going to be adding 2 AI steps, okay? You can do it in different ways, but for today, let's do it in the simplest way. So one is to draft an answer, and the other one is to extract the email from the email received. Okay, and then we send it back. I think it's pretty straightforward. We can use OpenAI for this. We can use OpenAI for this as well. And the reason why we're using OpenAI is because it is the simplest. I think they have like the cheapest models. I mean, you have Grok and all these ones, but I personally find OpenAI more reliable, which is why I use it in automations, and which is why most people do. And I send it back. All right, cool. So go to make.com, do it with me, guys, and go to create a new scenario, top right. And now we start from 0. We start from scratch. This is where the magic happens. Cool. So we said that the first step is watch emails, okay? So we can use the email module, or we can use the Gmail module. Now the difference is that the email, you can also connect your Outlook, but you can also use Outlook for this, right? So it just depends. Like email is what's it called? So you can use both Gmail and Outlook, but in this case, we can just use Gmail. That's the one I use. And you can use watch emails. So in this case, the trigger, again, the thing that starts the automation is receiving emails that come through. So then we can go into the next steps. We also have actions. We can do a bunch of stuff. We're going to use send an email back as well. So that's the action. All right, so watch emails. And now you have to connect your email to make.com. Like I mentioned in previous videos, the only bad thing about connecting your email or your Gmail, not bad thing, but it's like if you have a Gmail domain and you want to connect your Gmail domain or Google Mail domain with make.com, you have to follow this guide, which basically takes you through the Google Cloud platform, and you have to create a project and you have to put API and services. I remember when I had to do this, I was a bit mad, but you have ChatGPT to help you as well. This gives you like a whole step by step. If you follow this, I can guarantee you that it will work. If it doesn't work, search on YouTube how to connect Google services using custom OAuth client, and this video as well. All right, so once that's done, Oh, once that's done. Once you can, once you made the project on Gmail and Google Mail, that's fine. But if you're, I recommend you use a work domain. So for me, I'm going to use JM Solutions email, and I put today's date, which is 3rd of September. And you can sign in with Google. Once you sign in with Google, you'll have options to choose the account. In this case, I'm going to do the Michele at Gym Solutions. Continue. I think you have to press a few buttons here to make sure that make.com has access. And now you can see that the connection was made. Okay. All right. Well, let me actually show you one thing, because let me do personal email. Okay. Let me show you why Gmail doesn't, like what Gmail shows me when I just sign in with Google. Just so you see like the problem that I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, you see this? It's not possible to use restricted codes for customer. For more information on how to connect to restricted code. Okay, that's the thing. Because make.com has restricted scopes when it comes to Gmail domains, Gmail accounts, which is why you have to follow the guide, or this guide. And you have to add the client ID and client secret, which is something that you only get using this guide. All right, but now that you use a work domain and you have this here, and typically when you do this for companies, like no one's going to use their Gmail, so you're fine. Like you're fine either way. And now let me go to my work email. All right, and what do I have to do? So in this case, I have to send myself an email to test. But the folder here that I'm looking, so this is asking me what is the folder of the emails that are coming through that we have to look at. In this case, we can do all mails. Simple filter. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a filter. And the filter is like, hey, what are we watching for? You know, in this case, the subject line. So all emails. Gmail filter. Okay. The query itself is new lead submission. I believe this will work. Yeah. Will this work? Simple filter, all emails, mark emails read. Okay, there we go. That's why I couldn't find it. Show advanced settings. Because what I'm thinking through now is that we need to, like, we don't want to watch all the emails coming through. Like the subject line is the same. Like assuming the subject line is the same for every email that we get with a new lead form submission. That's what we want to get. In this case, simple filter. So not Gmail filter because that's more complex. That's query, which is for another time. But then we get all emails. And then we can either filter by the person who's sending us the email, which can happen. Because some companies, they get emails from the same person and they have to use those emails to then take action. So we can do that. Or in this case, we can do subject line. So subject line is like, okay, only watch those emails that have that subject line. So in this case, we can do new lead submission. Mark emails as read when fetched. So this is asking us, do you want to mark them as read when we extract them? We can say no. And what's the maximum number of results? And you press save. Now this right here, choose where to start. We can actually choose all emails or emails from a specific date, so we can test, or you can select the first email, whatever you do. Now, I actually don't have any emails with that, so I need to send myself an email. So let me go to my other email. At this point, I have like 50 emails. Michele, James Solutions. New lead submission. I think this matches, yeah. New lead submission, yeah, that's fine. So I'm basically sending myself an email to then test, to then fetch the email, right? Hey Mick, new lead came through today from ads. Below are the deets. Name, email, location, desire. And this can be applied to any kind of business. Like a lot of businesses have requirements instead of desire. Like what do they want? What sort of service they want, or what sort of thing are they looking for, and so on. So the name can be James Below. Email can be, well, my email in this case, because I want to make sure that, yeah, do my email. And location is, what's my location? Gran Canaria. And then desire is I want to be able to learn automations from zero to hero. And then we do, that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to send it to myself. I'm just going to wait for me to actually get the email from here, and then we can actually test it. That's how I usually do it with emails. We have to actually send ourselves an email. We have to wait, and then, okay, there we go. New lead submission here. If I go to make.com now, and I watch emails, I can, so 2 fingers, press this. I can choose where to start. Because if I press from now on, I mean, I guess this is where we just got an email. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. From now on, because we just received the email. It's fine. Now, on here, what you see on the right-hand side when you actually run it and it runs successfully, I know it runs successfully because it's green. We can see the actual details of the email that we got. So email ID, size, GMS, and message ID, Gmail message ID, thread ID, message link, attachments, headers, basic list, like all this stuff, pretty much useless. All we have to know is this. Like all we really care about is this. Then we have the HTML content as well. But we really have to care about this because that's the thing that we're going to use to then take action on the later steps. Okay, so just know that all of this is useless, but these are all fields that you can, I mean, you could use this, right? Like you could use this for later steps, like thread ID, in case you want to reply to the same email, you can use the thread ID. Other stuff, attachments, in case you're sending yourself PDFs, sender, in case you want to send back the email to the person who sent you the email. And there's different things you can do. But in this case, we just want to keep it simple and have the text content. Now, something I usually do, right, is set variable. Now, this is, again, I just press plus, set variable, because you see here, there's a bunch of variables. I just want to extract this one. I mean, you could in theoretically like just use this to give it to AI, but I like to extract this email body and just drag it across. So that when in the next steps, let's say I do another set variable, I can just reference email body without having to scroll through all of these. This isn't so applicable for this use case because there aren't so many variables that come through this, but something that I love to do because I want to keep things organized. And then set 2 fingers, press here, rename, set variables. Okay, cool. All right, now that's done. We have to use the first AI to draft an answer. Cool. So the way to use AI is to press plus and go to OpenAI, ChatGPT, and then we can use create a model response. We can also use create a completion. Yeah, let's do create a completion. And now you have to connect your OpenAI to make.com. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that your make.com account, your you don't have to have the ChatGPT paid account to be using it here. Like these are 2 completely different things. And so to connect to your OpenAI, you need an API key. So right here, you say create an API key. It says create an API key on OpenAI account API keys. You just have to press this. It will take you to this page. You have to log in. Again, the login that you're going to have for ChatGPT compared to this is different. I think they're not even valid. Like they're not the same. What you will see realistically is this. Let me go to guest profile. You'll see this, where you have to log in, I believe. Let me see if it works. There we go, here. You have to log in or sign up in this case. When you sign up, you go to this page. You're probably being in like docs or something. Just make sure that you press dashboard. Okay, when you press dashboard, on the left-hand side, you can press API keys. And then you can press create a new secret key. And you can name it whatever you want. So let's do email autoresponder. And then leave this as default project. Restricted, no, all permissions. We want to do all owned by you. And then create a secret key. And this secret key, which is the API key, which you shouldn't share with anyone because it is yours and so on, you can then paste back here. Okay, and don't worry about the organization ID, we don't need it. Now, one important thing is that, yes, you made the key, but now you have to add money to your account. So to add money to your account, I believe you have to go to settings, yeah, and then go to billing. You can also do API keys here, by the way. Yeah, billing, and then you have to add this. Now, how much is it? Very, very cheap. I think I topped up $5 like was it 6 months ago, and I think it ran for 5 months, but I was using it quite a bit. So it is very, very cheap. So don't worry about price. But I think the minimum you have to put is $5, and I recommend you put the auto recharge. Auto recharge. I don't have it right now, but I recommend you put it because, at least with clients, you definitely want to have that on, because sometimes the overnight credits they're finished after like a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, and then you have to and then you get an error and the system just stops working. But with enable recharge, this says that whenever the balance reaches 0, it will automatically recharge, and you're not going to have any problems that it will just stop, like the automation. Okay, so make sure to have money here, $5 at least. I think that's the minimum. And then you have your API key. Once you have your API key, you will save, and then you will have here. Now, the select method in this case will be create a chat completion, because this is what we're doing. This is sort of replacing us having to go here and saying, hey, can you do an email, right? And it's getting an answer. And this is a chat completion. Then the model we're going to use in this case, at the time of this video, I think GPT-5 mini, I think that's something that we can use. I think that's good. Okay, so these are telling us, hey, not all models give us everything that we need. So we have to look at this is fine, we don't need this, we don't need this. Yeah, we don't need any of this. That's fine. All right, messages. This is where you start adding the prompts for the AI. So let me go back. The messages are saying, hey, what do you want to tell the AI to actually do? So in this case, we have 4 different types: user, assistant, system, and tool. Now, user is sort of the prompt that you give AI in general, like saying, hey, can you do this for me? Assistant is when you want to give it an example and you want to give it a response, and I'll show you exactly what it is. And then system is the system prompt. So this is, hey, you are a helpful, intelligent content writing assistant. This is something that always comes first before you give it the others. And in tool, I believe that this is where you want to call a tool call ID. Not something we're going to do today, but in case it's sort of like, I think it's MCP. Yeah, I think it goes down to MCP, which is model context protocol, which is calling other tools from AI. So you're telling AI, hey, can you do this? It will call a tool to do a specific thing, and then we'll bring back the answer. Okay, so a bit more complex, but that's something you can do. All right, so in this case, we're going to add the system prompt. You can say, you are a helpful, intelligent email writing assistant. Okay, so we say, hey, you are helpful. Because the reason why we actually add a system prompt is not just for the fun of it. It's because AI thinks, like when AI thinks through what it is, and you give it an identity, it will psych itself to think that it actually is a thing, and the quality of it will increase. Or depending on what it is, right? In this case, we're writing emails. So if it say, hey, you're the best in the world, it will most likely increase the quality of the prompt. Then we add another message. So in this case, we're adding a user prompt, and the user prompt is, what is user prompt? What do we write? Your task. So we receive emails from when a new lead is submitted. Your task is to generate a personalized reply based on their details. I think that's pretty good. Usually the way that this works with like when you want to make a personalized email, you tell it, hey, do this email, then you give it a structure, right? And the structure can be like, hey, first name, saw that you're in location, love to see that you're looking for desire, right? And those sort of variables will be the ones that we change. And then at the end, you actually give it the actual data or variables or information or details. Okay, so let's see here. Let's give it a template. So email template. Hey, we usually do curly bracket, first name, or just one actually. Because let me show you what happens when you do 2. First name. I mean, you could do 2 to be honest, but this turns it into a variable which we can't fetch using make.com. So you just use first name. This will not do anything, right? Because it's not closed. First name. Love to see. No. Appreciate you booking in a call with us, and super pumped to meet you. Also saw that you're looking for desire. Desire is like, what are they looking for? What do they want? which we can definitely help with. And I guess here you would add your template, right? But I'm just doing it off on top of the dome. So you can definitely help with this. We can definitely help with. What else do we have? Location. I mean, location is going to be like the PS statement. Appreciate you, or not appreciate, I already said that. Thanks again. And looking forward to our call. Cheers, Michele. And then here, you can add a PS statement. This is always good to add when you want to do something a bit personalized. You can say, love to see, went to, location, a while back, loved it. Okay, cool. I think that's it. So we say the email template, we receive the emails. Let me put markdown format. So this is basically saying, hey, put this as heading 2. So the AI knows what the hierarchy is as to what it needs to look at. We say system prompt, then we say user prompt. And now, I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, and then now we can give it the actual email body. Another user prompt, and then we can use the email body. All right, and now we actually want to give it an example, because sometimes AI might work one time, but if you restrict, like if you make the focus for AI more and more narrow, it will follow what you say more, right? Still keeping the personalization here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a user. And by the way, this has to go at the end. This is the end. So let me actually just delete this and I'll add it later. But this is the example 1, example body, and this is the example answer assistant. Example answer. Okay. Example body, example answer, example body. So we just give it one example in this case, but this is the type of format that you when you prompt the AI on an API version. So you have the system prompt, you are helpful, intelligent, XYZ. User prompt, you need to do this. Here's a template. Here's an example of a body that we might get. Here's just a sample of the answer that you should receive or that you should send back. And then here's the actual details, which is a user prompt. And now you can add the email body. There you go. All right, so let's do an example. Let's do this one actually. Let me copy this. Go here, you can paste it. And assistant will be the answer that we get. So let me copy this template. Let me say, hey, James. So I'm basically saying this is what the output should look like. Hey, James. You're going to call with us and super pumped to meet you. Looking to learn automations from zero, which you can definitely help with. Thanks again for that. Went to the Canary Islands a while back. Loved it. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's nice. We don't want to make it too broad, as in we still give the AI, like the reason why we give it AI a template is because we don't want AI to actually sort everything out and like to do the whole email. We want to sort of give it like some guidance as to what to do. All right, I think that's good. And then here, the email body is fine. I can press save now, or before I press save, let me show you exactly, or let me walk you through exactly what this is. So this is tokens. So if you read here, maximum number of tokens to use in a completion output. If the empty limited model will be used, low values may cause the output to be truncated. High values may use a lot of OpenAI credits. So let's say you have a big blog, right? Like you're doing a huge blog. If each blog, like each word is a character, right? Which goes to tokens. Like if something is token intensive, that means it has a lot of characters, a lot of words. So when this says low values may cause the output to be truncated, let's say I put the number 204, and you can check the OpenAI pricing for this. This will use only 204 tokens, which is not a lot, which won't take a whole essay, right? It will cut it at its limit, and the limit is 204 tokens. If you don't add any limit, it will use whatever the model needs to use. So if I say write me a LinkedIn post, and it needs to write a LinkedIn post for like 20 lines, it will do 20 lines. But if I say, hey, only, let's say I add 20 tokens, then it will cut when the 20 tokens are up. Let me go to OpenAI pricing. Let me think. Let me see if I can have it here. Tokens. Or how many characters is in a token? I thought it was 111, but I was actually wrong. It isn't 111. Yeah, 4 characters. So yeah, so one token is 4 characters. So do the math there. You can see if like you want a blog that's it's like 1,000 characters, then I believe that's like I don't know what it is, but that's like the amount of tokens you should put here. In this case, I'm gonna leave it blank because we're not gonna use that many tokens either way. I would usually only add a limit when I know that the output might be very, very long because I don't want to use all my API credits, and that's fine. Here we also have some other options like response format. In this case, you can use JSON. In this case, we don't need to, so that's fine. Reasoning effort, I think this is something that they just recently added, but minimal, low, medium, high, we don't really need this. I guess this is good for like reasoning through things that are a bit more complex. Max completion tokens, we just went through this. Temperature. Temperature works like this. So if you give something to AI and AI needs to decide what it wants to do and it needs to be very, very random, if you want it to be very creative and very random and not listen to your rules step by step, then you should be using a higher temperature. A lower temperature signifies that it's more strict and follows rules step by step. This right here, alternative to sampling temperatures based on tokens, probably from, okay, we don't need to use this, but I believe this has to do with tokens, like this mentions right here. Number of responses is fine, frequency penalty, and all this stuff we don't really need. So it's not really important. All right, cool. So turn this off, and now we can test it. So if I go to save, and I save here, in 2 fingers, I just press this module, and I run this module only. Now I can give it an example. So if I go to my email, and I copy this, I paste it, and I just change this. I want to be able to build my first automation. We can leave the other details the same. That's fine. Now this is running. It's talking to the AI, and now it's generating a reply based on the email that we give it. Now this is taking quite a bit, which is not good. I mean, it's good if you want to like, this is a pretty easy task, so we wouldn't use GPT-5 actually now, that I think about it. I think we'd use 4.0 mini. Okay, so we get this response. This is the input that we give it. This is the output that we got. If I go to result, I can see that now. I can see here that we got an email. Appreciate you booking a call with us. Also saw that you're looking to build your first automation, which is something which we can definitely help with. Thanks again. Looking forward to our call. I went to the Gran Canaria a while back. Okay, that's fine. If I go here, let me make this GPT-4.0 mini. Or 4.1. 4.1 mini is fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Save. I guess like the more, like the lower the model, the less tokens it will do, and the faster it is. For me, it's about speed more than anything, because any mini model doesn't require a lot of tokens. It's just about speed. Okay, cool. So this right here generates email reply. But now you saw in the email that we got, we also get the email from the person, right? So how do we extract the email from here? Well, in this case, let's use another AI step. So OpenAI to just extract the email. All the same settings. In this case, again, we can do 4.1 mini. Tokens is fine. We can say you are a helpful, intelligent, information extractor assistant. User prompt will be, your task is to extract the email from the email address from email we receive. It's pretty standard. I mean, yeah, it's fine. And now we can give it an example. So add a message, again, user assistant. The user in this case would be this. That's the user. And then now the assistant should just be this email. So we're saying, hey, we give you this email. You just have to give me back the email. Okay, that's it. And now for another user prompt, I can give it the email body. Yeah, it's fine. All right, cool. Let me actually just change this real quick. james@gmail.com. To copy this. Go back. Cool. Save. Let me go here. I just wanted to change the email. Copy this. Paste this. And now I can press OK. Now this should give me an answer. You see how it's faster with james.email.com. With james@gmail.com. All right, so now we have generated reply. Now we have extract the email. Now we can go on to send an email. Saying extract email. Yeah, now we can send an email back to the lead that came through. So we go here, press plus, go Gmail, send an email. James Solutions email, that's fine. Now we have to, and again, using the same connection as before, we have to send, it's asking us, who do we want to send the email to? What is the subject line? What is the content? So who are we sending the email to in this case? It's the email domain that we got here, result, drag it across, because that's the answer. And again, this might look a bit overwhelming when you see all these variables, but really the only thing you have to care about is this, like the result. See the result here? That's the email body that we give it. Subject line is, thanks for booking a call. The content of this will be result, which is generate email reply, and everything else is fine. Now, there's only one problem here. The problem is that we have to use HTML tags. I'll show you exactly why we need to use HTML tags, and then we can go on to actually using them. Let me press save real quick. Let me just run this module only. I can just test this step. It is something that we do instead of running once, which will run it from here all the way there. Result. So this is the, I believe this is the email. So let's just do this email. $100 million peanuts. Can paste it here. And now here I can say, hey, okay. Okay, no, actually I want to run this from the start because then you can see. Yeah, you can see. Okay, cool. So let me just send myself or use the same email, choose where to start, select first email, which is this one right here. I can press save and now I can run it. Now this right here will take the email, which is, again, this right here. It will then set the variables, generate a reply, extract the email, and then send back an email to, I believe, my personal email with this. Okay, this is the problem here. You see how everything's squished together and there's no spacing? That's exactly what we want, what we don't want, sorry. So in this case, to mitigate that, we have to use HTML tags. That's what I meant. But here, it's not, we don't use HTML tags in the email. We use HTML tags where we write the email. So we have to go all the way back when we have to write the email. And we have to specify that it needs to use HTML tags. You need to use HTML tags. Okay, so in this case, a new line, like the way that to make it look like this, every line is a BR. Like, I mean, just a BR. That's a break. Stands for break. So if you want 2 new lines, all you have to do is put BR. Okay, so we have to put BR, and I mean, we really just need one here. And then BR. And now, because we have the template, we say, okay, in the template, this is what should be outputted. We also have to give it the example and the answer that we gave before. And we have to add the BR here as well. So BR here as well, here only one, and here. So now the AI will think through what it needs to do. It will see that in every single email that we write, we use the BR, and that's what it will give us. And that's the HTML tags that we need to use in order to make the email formatted well, essentially. Let me press save. Let me run it again. Select first email. Go here. Let me press save. Let me go see the email body. Okay, you see here now, it uses the BR. So if I go to my email, I show, I can see now The reason why I have to press this button is because it's in the same thread, or same person sent us the email that's the same. Now it has new lines. Now it looks nice. It looks pretty. All right. Right there. So let's send ourselves a new email from scratch so that we can actually test it. Go here. Killer Gem Solutions, new lead submission. And that's what it would look like when it needs to extract the emails. Let me copy this and paste it. And now we can change the name. So we can change Jane Laurie. We can do $100 million peanuts at gmail.com. We can do London. I want to build business with AI. All right, that's fine. Yeah, that should be fine. Let me go to send. I think this is the, no, okay, that's the email. I'm gonna refresh and wait for the new email to come through so that we're able to run the automation. Now I'll show you exactly how do we actually set it live. How does it work when we want to actually just give it to a client? And do we have to run this once every single time? The answer is no, but I'll show you why. Okay. It does take like 10, 15 seconds. I think I sent it to the right. Did I? Yeah, should be good. There we go. New lead submission. And this email. So if I go here, and I've just put from now on, it's fine. And I run this now got the Jane Laurie, the email, and so on. And then we should be getting an email back to my $100 million emails, which I just closed for no reason. With this, thanks for booking in a call. Hey Jane, I appreciate you booking in a call with us and super pumped to meet you. Also saw that you're looking to build a business with AI, which you can definitely help with. Thanks again for looking forward to our call. Cheers, Michele. Went to London a while back, loved it. That's a pretty nice email that you can send someone back when they book a call or when a new lead is submitted. Because a lot of the times people get automatic replies, as in, I mean, this is automatic, but automatic replies in the sense that they're standard, like they don't really change and they don't include what people want. So using AI, we can actually build, we can actually add different steps, different things in the email. Now, one thing to make it even more human, assuming that as soon as the lead comes through, it sends the email here, and we run this every 5 minutes, and then it sends it here. We don't want, like, how realistic is it for you to opt into something, right? Put your email there, and then you get an email back for you to think that's actually human, right? You would think that it would take like maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes, or even like not even 20 minutes, but let's say 5 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever it is, in terms of time for someone to actually get back. Because who's going to be able to drop this in like a minute, like 30 seconds, as soon as you submit it? Like, it's most likely not going to happen, right? So right here, we can, 2 fingers press here, we can add a module. In this case, we're basically adding a step in between this, and we can add a sleep module. Now the sleep module is saying, okay, when we come to this page, or when we come here, how many seconds do you want to stop, or how many seconds do you want to wait until you go to send the email? In this case, we should do, it's between 1 and 300. We can do maybe like 90. And press save. Okay. So now it drops the email, it extracts the emails, then it waits 90 seconds before it sends the email. So it looks more realistic, right? And then we can auto-line it and save. All right. So that right there is the full build that we did step by step. Again, a few things, you always want to map it out and think through exactly how you want to build it in the first place. And then on make.com, you go step by step, you do it and you iterate and you test. Testing is a big part of this. For the client, in terms of setting this up, you would have this on their account, then you would toggle this on. So because this right here, like, there's a difference between the triggers that are instant and the triggers that are acid. Okay, this right here is an acid trigger. If this was instant, this would get the email right away as soon as someone sends it, right? But it's not like that, because this runs on a schedule. You can put this on a schedule. You can run this every day, every 50 minutes, every 1 minute, every whatever it is. So if you run this every 1 minute, it will check if new emails came through with that subject line, and it will run the automation. So when it comes to setting this up for someone or setting this up in general, you have to think about how often do you want to check the emails. And that's pretty much it. You can run it like every 5 minutes. But if there's no emails that come through, it will just run only this. So you only have one operation one credit that you're using. And you turn this on every 15 minutes. All right, so that right there is the full email autoresponder build. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got to see exactly how we use emails in automations and actually use AI to respond to these emails, to extract information, and how the automations actually go together. Again, automation is very simple. It's software connected with another software, and we pass variables. We pass data from one place to another. And that's what everything is about. I'm going to leave the blueprint down below in case you want to download it into your own account and you want to test things. Or I recommend you actually build it with me, rewatch this video, or if you build it with me, that's amazing. So you can actually practice and learn by doing. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one.